everyone. Welcome back to Keeping Up with the Chaldeans. I'm Anthony Toma, Junior Binno. We have Joseph Samona here today with Max Broock Realtors. We just want to welcome everybody to the next episode of Keeping Up with the Chaldeans. Please remember to subscribe and like the video. Today's episode is made possible by the generosity of our friends at Connect Mortgage Funding. So check out Terry over there at Connect. And also we have other sponsorship opportunities. So if you're interested in sponsoring an episode, please feel free to reach out to us. Joe, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Anthony, thanks for having me, Junior.
Why don't you introduce yourself again and tell us what you do and what you want to talk about.
So, again, my name is Joe Samona. I've been in real estate for going into my 9th year now. I'm with Max Broock Realtors. Max Broock is a division of Real Estate One. Real Estate One also owns Johnstone & Johnstone, Charles Reinhardt, Insurance One, and a bunch of different affiliates. We call them the Real Estate One family of companies.
Wow.
So here basically to talk about the home buying process, leasing versus buying, and how involved the realtor should get in the transaction, and what really your realtor should know, and how your realtor can assist you, and how to pick a good realtor as well.
Cool.
What started you into this? What was your first steps of getting into it? Did you start with Max Broock, or was there a different real estate company that you started with?
So I started with Real Estate One, and I bounced around my first year until I figured out what I wanted to do. And then I eventually came back to Real Estate One. We have a great atmosphere over there. It's really a great environment to be in. The people there are very helpful. So our office in West Bloomfield on Orchard Lake is a dual office.
Okay.
It was Real Estate One, Max Broock. It was the only dual office there was. So we had the option recently of either being strictly Real Estate One or strictly Max Broock. So portion of us chose Max Broock, portion of us chose Real Estate One, and I ventured off into Max Broock.
Is there a split there, or what is that? Explain that, the relationship again.
Yeah, like a dual agency. Like, how does that work?
So no, it's not a dual agency. So Real Estate One owns all these companies.
I got you.
So
Okay.
they're affiliates. That's why
Yeah.
they call Real Estate One the family of companies.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's just Max Broock is a lot more known in the Birmingham, Bloomfield
Sure.
Hills
Big time.
area. Versus Real Estate One that might be more well known in the South Line, Novi, Farmington Hills area. Obviously, I service all areas.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a name recognition, if you will.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
for
you usually
sure.
see Max Broock on high-end homes.
Yep.
Like even when you're driving up. This morning I saw some that were listed over there off of Orchard Lake when I was going to St. Mary's. So I saw some of those posted up on these signs that were there for that too, for Max Broock. So you chose how? Was it a coin toss? What'd you guys do to figure out what side you're gonna go with?
No, I really always liked the name Max Broock. I don't necessarily put my focus on one price end versus another. I service all clients. In fact, I was in the office till 1 a.m. last night preparing some comparative market analysis, which are on the table now, for a client who is looking to sell 6 properties from $30,000 to $60,000 each. So I service all of those. I service the $30,000 to $60,000 clientele, and I service the $400,000 to $4 million clientele. To me, business is business. And actually, my second biggest sale came out of a referral that I sold someone a investment property for $40,000, and they referred me a buyer for $1.7 million.
Wow.
So that was I never underestimate the value of a transaction or of a client.
Yeah.
Sure.
I see
you,
some.
You treat them all the same.
Yeah, look some
Absolutely.
street names. Brentwood. Are we talking 7 Woodward area, Brentwood?
Inkster.
Okay. All right.
So over the years, you said you've been in the business for 9 years now.
Yeah, going into my 9th year.
Wow, congratulations!
Thank you.
What have you learned over the years, and what the position of or the responsibility of a realtor?
So, a little bit of a background. My dad has had his real estate license for probably going on 30 years now.
Oh wow!
And I used to always like helping him out at the office, and that's how I got the idea of going into real estate. I was in college. I was prepped to go to law school. I took my LSAT. I did very well on my LSAT. Then I decided I liked real estate. So one of the things that I've learned over the years is to treat every client as if they're your own client.
Yeah.
They're your only client, I should say.
Yeah.
It's very important to make the client feel like that and be genuine in that as well.
Yeah.
There's different ways to approach different transactions, which I've learned over the years, and I will continue to learn over the next 50 years, God willing.
Yeah.
There's ways to approach a transaction if you need to approach it aggressively, if you need to be cool, calm, and collective about a transaction. One of the things that I've really learned that kind of irks me is a lot of realtors don't actually read the purchase agreements and are just filling them out on a standardized kind of like scripted form.
Right.
You need to read it because I've recently ran into a situation where my client wanted out of the transaction, and we had an out on the transaction.
Right.
And the other agent, who's been in the business for 20 plus years, didn't think we had an out until his broker actually called him and said, "This guy's right. You have an out."
Right. And you were able to help your client out by kind of hurting yourself, because now you're going to lose the commission, but your focus is on the best interests of your client, obviously.
Absolutely. My focus is on the best interest of the client.
Yep.
And although I may not get the commission at that moment, believe me, down the road,
Yeah.
when that client is thinking about purchasing again, that client
be
is
Joe.
going to give me a call, and they're going to remember Joe did that.
Absolutely.
That's good. That makes it one of the separators that you offer, is that you aim for the customer, not for the profit right off the rip. So that's a big separator right there, is when you think of it like that. What other things differentiate you, and your 9 years of experience has set you apart from some of the other agents that are out there, or brokering firms out there? What gives you the bit of advantage?
So, I'm very well versed in the legal aspect of real estate. In the mortgage aspect of real estate, I would confidently say that I am probably more well versed than about 99.9% of the realtors out there. And as far as title work and insurance work, I'm very well versed at those at all. Look, it's very important for a realtor to shop these services for a client.
Sure.
There's some lenders that are going to be mad at me for saying this. They're going to say, "Hey, let us do our job and you do your job." Well, my job is protecting the biggest financial purchase of my client's life. And if I have to do that by means of shopping rates or shopping coverages,
Right.
or shopping a title company, then I'm going to do that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care if it's my best friend. I'm going to shop the rate for the client.
So are you inclined on some mortgages? Like today, if they threw you into the mortgage industry, since you say you've got that much knowledge of it, do you think that you just would be able to just jump into that arena if you ever really want to, by experience, or were you in it at some point in time?
Interesting that you asked that question. So I actually took my mortgage loan originator class,
Okay.
just as a matter to gain experience, and I just took that recently, actually.
Sure.
So there's a lot of back-end stuff that people don't know about real estate, and there's a lot of back-end stuff that I may not know about mortgages. So if I really wanted to, I think I could transition into that.
Sure.
But I think my passion is really at real estate right now. Look, I'm only 30 years old, but it's one of the few jobs that I've held where I can literally get home, put my feet up, or be out on vacation and say, I earned this. It's really like kind of heartwarming to hear people say, "You made my dream come true, you made this come true." And realtors do a lot more on the back end than you think that they do.
Sure.
They do a lot more.
Explain some of that. I mean, because obviously you have the sense of accomplishment, which is great. That's what we all work for, with doing stuff. What's some of the stuff that realtors do behind that we would never see as home buyers?
So whether purchasing or selling a home, let's assume you're getting financing on the property.
Yep.
Usually the listing agent would meet the appraiser out at the property because they want to get the property appraised. They want to get it sold for the purchase price. However, what I like to do, even if it's my purchaser, I like to meet the appraiser out at the property.
Okay.
And I like to give the appraiser my own sets of comparables. And while the listing agent will provide list of upgrades and whatnot, some of the things that I've done that set me apart, that go above and beyond. I'll give you an example. There was a client of mine who, when he became a citizen, changed his name. So now the lender's looking at his credit report and sees, who's, I'm going to use fake names, who's Anwar and who's Andy. I'm like, well, they're the same person. He changed his name. So I had to go down to the federal court. I had to go get his name change form. I had to submit that to the lender. That's stuff that not every realtor will do for you, and that's stuff that not every realtor knows how to do for you. There was a situation where a client of mine had a company that he was no longer operating. The lender wanted to make sure that the company was no longer in operation and the company was not dissolved on Laura. So I had to literally drive down to Lansing, file dissolution papers, and drive back up for that transaction. So it's stuff that sets you apart, and if you don't think of those and if you don't come up with innovative ways, then that can really be detrimental to your client.
Yep. And where did you pick most of this experience? Was it over like you said, your father had his history already in this field. Did you gain a lot from what knowledge he had given you? Because it sounds like not only do you have common sense for the person buying, but also sounds like you have some wisdom that's passed on to you to know the angles. Where did that come from?
So the wisdom is the work ethic that my dad has passed down to me, and it's kind of the passion of helping people. And it was knowing the kind of business that he did back in the days, which was considered a high volume business, which inspires me. Where I learned that specifically, it was really self-taught. Being that I was contemplating on going to law school, gave me kind of a legal perspective and a legal vision on all of this. And I network with a lot of people as far as my own personal network. I mean, someone can call me and they can have an issue, and I could refer them to 3 different real estate attorneys. I could refer them to, 3 different inspectors or 3 different mortgage lenders. So it's all this was self-taught. It was strictly self-taught. Nobody taught me how to do this except my dad, who gave me the work ethics.
And passing the LSTAT is no easy task, and studying for it teaches you a lot as far as organizing, how to study, how to review documents, how to do all that stuff. So having that in your arsenal, and then having you passed. What was the other thing the other thing that you studied for? And
well, I took the mortgage loan originator class.
So you have knowledge of anything that's gonna happen in a closing, in a purchase, in a sale.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's you got to credit that, and that makes you a desirable real estate agent.
Sure.
How large of a capacity do you guys staff in your office that you work with? How many coworkers do you have, and how do you guys pretty much? Well, I'm saying within his office himself, like you're based out of, you said West Bloomfield.
So our office is based out of West Bloomfield. The office that I'm at has north of 120 agents. That's just in our office. Roughly about 120 agents. There's probably close to 2,000 agents within the company. Really, a big part of the business is building your relationships. There's seasoned realtors who have been seasoned much longer than me, who are great realtors, who just haven't built many relationships, who still call me and say, hey, do you know this guy, or do you know this lady? And it's kind of something that, it's even realtors that I haven't even done deals with that still show me the immense amount of respect, because I showed that back to them as well.
Right. And so how do you do that? How do you build your network? How have you built your network?
Word of mouth. I'm doing a lot of social media advertising now, a lot of Instagram advertising, kind of, giving people different situations on should you rent or should you buy, and what you should look for in a realtor and what you should look for in a lender, and kind of showcasing a lot of our office's listings as well.
Gotcha. And then you were going to give our viewers some advice on what they should know for closing, what they should know when shopping for a house, what they should know as far as an association documents might say, or how they're bound by those things. Can you kind of share a little bit about what they should be looking for?
Sure. So I'm going to run it through a couple of different scenarios briefly. So if you are on the purchasing end of a transaction, and if you don't have knowledge, or if you don't have already a lender that you want to go with, and if you're relying on your realtor to give you all these recommendations, make sure your realtor is giving you a list of lenders that you could go to, a list of 3, say, lenders that they've enjoyed doing business with. We actually can't call them preferred lenders. It's actually illegal under the Real Estate Settlements Procedures Act, called RESPA. Make sure they give you a list of 3 different inspectors. And you could ask them questions about title fees. Is the title fee going to be different at any other company rather than this one? Is it going to make a difference? Because you could choose your own title company. It's not up to the realtor. The realtor does not have discretion on your lender, your insurance carrier, your title company, your inspector has. Your realtor has no discretion on that. That's your discretion.
What does the realtor have discretion on, if anything?
The realtor has discretion on following, the realtor doesn't really have discretion. The realtor has to act ethically, and the realtor works for you. If you come to me and if you want to buy a house, I'm working for you. I'm not working for anyone else. I'm working for you. We don't get kickbacks from those companies, and kickbacks are highly illegal from those. What's a little bit different in the real estate industry versus the mortgage industry is we could pay a referral fee to another agent. Let's say I have a family member looking for a home in Florida, and I refer it to a Florida agent. They could pay me a referral fee over here. However, in the finance industry, they cannot pay referral fees from one mortgage loan originator to another mortgage loan originator. So that's kind of something interesting to know as far as when I'm talking about, kickbacks are illegal. That's not referral fees. We're talking about,
Those are different.
Exactly.
That's a different transaction altogether.
Exactly. So, know that the process, it's not going to be an easy process, purchasing a home. It's not going to be an easy process, but what I'm here to do is kind of come in, take that stress off your shoulder and put it on my shoulders, because I can manage that stress, because that's what we do. That's what we do for a living. As far as your selling process, don't let your realtor just tell you a number. Hey, your house is worth this much. You can see over here, I have 5 different comparative market analysis, and all of them are 30 plus pages. And these aren't for $500,000 homes. These are for $30,000 to $60,000 homes. So if I just
data's out there,
the data's out there, provided to your client. And one of the things I'm gonna stress is, especially to home sellers, is if you have silver, it's only worth the price of silver. It's not worth gold. So people ask me, how's the market? I heard houses in this subdivision aren't selling. And my answer is the same thing every time. If you price your home the right way, your home is going to sell immediately. I'm not saying price it at a steal, but price your home based on what? Exactly.
Fair market value.
Price your home at fair market value.
And you help with that, obviously, by
of course,
all of your research.
Because you see it here, he's got it in his books. He does comparative market analysis in here, and he's able to show you grids and stuff on what goes on within your area too, as well, for comps.
Yeah, of course. And there's times where I've been to listing appointments where they've wanted to list with me, and I've said, I'm sorry, I can't help you, because if a house is worth, $200,000 and they want to list it for $329,000. There's a lot of work, there's a lot
Yeah.
of time, and there's actually a decent amount of money that goes into it for the
marketing
realtors
side, yeah.
up front.
Yep.
And buyers also, please don't think that you're going to get a steal in today's market. It's simply not happening. I'll give you a perfect example. Right now, the interest rates are very low. I have a client who's looking at a home, who I sent them a home for $500,000. They said, really, our budget's about $460,000. I said, okay. I said, let me break it down to you like this. I said, you're at $500,000 with the ultra low interest rate. Here's your payment.
Yeah.
Now you wait about 4 or 5 months to buy.
Yep.
Let's say the prices of the homes drop hypothetically, just to kind of go against what you're saying.
Sure.
The home is now worth $460,000, but the interest rates are up.
Yeah.
So now the interest rate, instead of being 3.625%, it's 4%.
Yeah.
You only saved yourself about $40 a month, but you don't know if that home is available.
Gambling, yeah.
That's a gamble.
If it's your dream home,
Yeah.
it's your dream home. If it's a perfect fit, it's a perfect fit, because it's, the inventory is a little scarce right now too, right?
Yeah, it's a seller's market.
And the cash buyers are picking up with no hesitation. They're not
Yeah.
even there's no bargaining like was before. The bargaining table is gone.
There's no bargaining like there was before. There's no going to the bank directly and getting foreclosed listings like there was before.
So I got a question for you in regards to exactly where you're saying this. So what makes the difference of some of these nicer homes that like have been on the market for, over 10 months and haven't sold, and then you have a house that was less than 30 days goes up and poof, it's already got like 10 offers on it. What separates? Why does somebody sit that longer in a market that, like Anthony's saying,
You got silver, you got silver.
Yeah.
You don't have gold. You price it correctly.
A lot of the stuff that goes into it too, I can't tell you how important pictures to a home are. Professional pictures. Again, I don't care the price range of the home. I don't even care if it's a lease.
Yeah.
Spend $100 or $200, get professional pictures done on the property, put those nice professional pictures up. I actually work with a couple of people who take professional photos who, if the home is vacant, can actually virtually stage the home. That will get people in the door. Once they get in the door, half the battle is getting them in the door. If you can't get them in the door, you can't achieve the other half of the battle, which is selling the
Tough
home.
sale, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
We had a young man on, just if you've never met him, we had a young man that we interviewed here too. He did our mixer too, but he specializes in that. Brandon Ambro, he does work for realtors for those. He specifically was on that when we first did the interview.
Drones.
Yeah, stuff with the drones and all that. But maybe we can link you guys up.
Absolutely. I actually didn't know that until when I was coming in this morning. I was informed of that, so I would absolutely love to link up with him.
Cool. Yeah. Well, we can.
And
get
any
you
brokers out there.
Yeah, any brokers.
Any realtors out there should look Brandon up.
Yep. He's a good
Give him a
kid.
shot.
Yeah. So I have another question that's just mortgages and stuff can be tough at times for people, whether they're in a credit crunch or the difference of an FHA versus a conventional loan. Do you deal with any land contracts, and what is the benefits, or what could be the negative side of land contracts? Have you ever dealt any of that stuff?
So I do deal with land contracts, and I've dealt with several land contracts. So it depends on the price range in the area that you're looking in. A lot of people, for example, these investment properties, the client is probably going to be willing to take a land contract on them. A lot of land contracts, they're going to require 25-30% down on the purchase.
Sure.
Why? Because off the bat, the seller is paying 6% in commissions, 3% to one side, 3% to the other side.
Sure.
And they want to make sure they have some financial security in the home. Look, you said how difficult are land contracts? They're not difficult per se. They might require actually more of a financial investment. But if you're not working with a good lender who can actually tell you, and again, this is referring back to the mortgage class that I took, who can actually tell you exactly what you need to do in order to be able to qualify.
Right.
I'll give you an example. You might have a credit card with a $5,000 credit limit that you owe $4,900 on, and you might have a credit card with a $1,000 credit limit that you owe $900 on. You might be paying off the higher balance credit card first,
Yep.
when really it might make more sense to pay off the other one first. So you got to look at all avenues of that. A lot of times, what a lot of lenders won't tell you, this is why if your realtor's informed, you'll be in a better position. Is for example, if you're putting less than 20% down, private mortgage insurance. If your credit score is at a certain level, it might make sense for you to go FHA because your FHA insurance will actually be lower than a conventional loan's private mortgage insurance.
Gotcha.
So it's nice to know that.
Where is that range? I mean, you're on the realty side, but where is the range for an FHA? What's the range of a credit score? Is it like the mid 5s to the mid 6s? Is it low 6s to,
So there are some lenders who deal with what they refer to as subprime borrowers. Usually, I'm seeing 620 and up to be on the safe side. 620 and up. There's some that offer special programs where the interest rate might be a lot higher, where it might not. There might be deals where it might not, where it might be called a non-conforming loan, where it might not conform to Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac guidelines. So 620 and up is typically what the lenders are going to like to see. There was a client who reached out to me via Instagram a couple of days ago, and within about 10 minutes of talking to this client, I realized that we could possibly have a financing issue with this based on the questions that I asked the client.
Yep.
And that's probably the best thing that I could have done, because last thing I want to do is, look, I don't care about about my time as much as I care about that client's time.
Yeah.
But if I would have went and showed that client 30 homes, and then that client would have found something that they absolutely loved, to have their dreams crushed by not being able to buy, it's like, all right, because a lot of realtors wait until their client's ready to put an offer, because they just say, yeah, I'm making this much a year.
And maybe while they're looking, they can correct the issue.
There's a lot of stuff that they can correct while looking, yes.
Right.
And then that's the job that you were saying as a realtor, that you and helping between you and possibly the mortgage people, you guys can back and forth it, or
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, we go back and forth about how to help the client and, really assist any lender that I'm dealing with to have a knowledgeable realtor on the other end of it.
So you're a very well-established young man, very impressive young man. Give you a lot of credit for everything that you've done and how far along you've come in these 9 years that you've been in the industry. Is there anyone you want to shout out or thank for? I mean, the reason why you're here today, besides your dad, and shout out your dad. Give your dad some props.
My parents, Farouk and Batul Samona. Shout out God.
Yeah, God's important
for having me here. There's a lot of people who are inspirations to me. One of my very good friends, who's actually the highest producing agent in the state of Michigan, is Kathy Brooke. Kathy's a very, very good friend of mine. She's really a role model. She's really an inspiration. Seeing someone attain so much success inspires you.
Yeah.
There's tons and tons of family and friends that I owe my success and gratitude to, and as well as thanks on my future success.
Yeah. And so you mentioned Kathy's, and she has the same last name there as Max. Is there any relation there?
There is.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if it's if she's a great granddaughter or the
granddaughter.
I think.
Well, 1895. That's a long time, so it might be great granddaughter. But I'm sure she'll call in and correct us. Hold on, let me see. Hello, Kathy. Hey. Oh, thanks for calling in. Yeah, we were wondering if hello. AT&T.
Drop call. Drop call.
Drop calls. What are you gonna do?
Yes.
So, go ahead, Junior.
Usually, if there's anybody that we may have missed or any topics that
Anything that you
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
cover that we may have
Yeah,
forgotten to
there's
mention.
there's one thing that I just realized that you asked that
Yeah.
I didn't, the association thing.
Oh yeah. Okay. So about the association, you all might recognize Joe from the little fake news channel CNN. Joe was on CNN for an issue he had with his association. He's going to tell you a little bit about that, and he'll give you a little update because I'm sure anyone that recognized Joe was kind of curious about where that stood.
Sure. So, really briefly, in 2005, we received a letter from our association asking us to remove our nativity scene. We refused to remove it. It blew up. We were on Hannity and Combs. We were on Anderson Cooper 360. Mojo in the Morning did a live nativity scene in our front lawn. Spike was actually the baby Jesus. They rescinded the violation notice. They told me they would send me a holiday gift basket and asked me where they could send it. I said I didn't want a holiday gift basket. They said, why? I said, I'll take a Christmas gift basket.
Oh.
So I had it sent to St. Vincent de Paul in Pontiac. 2009, we received a letter about our Mary Mother statue, our Virgin Mary statue in our front lawn.
How big is the mother?
By the way, it's like, I'm not kidding you. Type in my name on Google and go to Google Images. You'll see it. I think it's like 21 inches tall and like 17 inches wide at its widest point. The Oakland Press reporter actually missed it when he was driving by because he didn't notice it.
Wrong house, he thought.
Fast forward right now to 2019. We received what we believe was a bogus letter from the association in the mail saying that there's overgrown weeds and there's statuary lawn ornaments. So I responded with a very, very clever letter saying that the grass is not overgrown, the weeds are not overgrown, and I actually cited news articles stating that in June of 2019 how we had 3 times more rain than May, and another news article that said it's dangerous to mow your lawn while the grass is wet.
Perfect.
And then I specifically told them we're not removing the Virgin Mary statue. And I signed it, and it said, with the love of Jesus Christ and the entire Holy Family.
God bless.
So basically what happened with that is we did not take the offensive end, and the association has not filed a lawsuit in this. It's our belief that the association has a very, very weak position in this, and that our position is very strong. The statue's been up for 16 years. There's the issue of waiver, legal terminology, issue of latches, legal terminology. However, what they're doing is they're enforcing this trying to enforce this specifically against a religion, because I drove through the subdivision. I counted over 100 different lawn ornaments and statuaries, and when we requested violation notices, which are allowed under the law, when we requested the copies of the violation notices, that request was denied.
So basically, the statue's there. The statue's not going anywhere.
Statue's there. Statue's not going anywhere.
Know your association.
But know your association. Know your association, and know your association.
Yeah.
Know what they do, and know what your rights are too. Because what was interesting about ours, and I'll wrap up this part of it. What was interesting about ours is that they could only deny it if we requested permission, which we don't believe that we have to request permission, but it's their position that we do. They could only deny it for purely aesthetic reasons. So someone would have to find that a 1.5 foot by 1.5 foot statue of the Virgin Mary is not aesthetic to them,
appealing, yeah.
which would be insane. If the association does bring any action, our attorney who took the case, who actually reached out to me and took the case pro bono from the Great Lakes Justice Center, will be representing us, and
Nice.
We appreciate everyone's support.
So in closing, we ask our guests, what does it mean to you to be Chaldean?
So to me, to be Chaldean is a symbol of our faith and a symbol of our culture, and to me, it means being that person that everybody hopes to be regardless of your culture, but we have it. What what I love about being Chaldean is you could take away whatever you want from us. You could cuss us out, you could cuss our mothers out, but one thing you cannot do is you cannot take away our faith.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I love about being Chaldean.
Oh, man.
And being proud is really what it means to be Chaldean. And of course the occasional Doma Woozy.
Yes.
Good call.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks for joining us, man. Again,
Thank
you're
you.
a very
I
impressive
appreciate
young
it.
man, brother.
Thank
Awesome
you.
to have you.
Thank you.
It's awesome to have you. So in closing, we had Joseph Samona from Max Broock Realtors on with us today, and you get to hear all about his experience growing in the industry itself, and along with what help he can offer to you. Before we go, I just want to make sure that you subscribe to us. We are everywhere from YouTube, which is our main source. Also on Spotify, iTunes. You can listen anywhere you go, on the fly, to be able to listen to this. We do have sponsorship opportunities available, so just check those out on KUWT Chaldeans.com. See what's available out there for you, and join the screen up here with us and let the exposure come. We do have availabilities also on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Anthony, myself, the interviews. There's not a single place you can't find us. So make sure you keep up with us, as we are keeping up with you.